Hi, and welcome back to Auto Insania in the not so sunny month of May. Now, it's been a little while since the last video, which, as you remember, was the collection of my new daily, my Mazda 6 180 Sport Diesel. Touch wood, that car is still going strong and providing me with many miles per mile. It's fast, it's also economical, which makes a nice change, and it's a really nice car to drive, and I'm actually enjoying owning it. There's still a worry about the 2.2 diesel engine, which tends to be what they refer to, I think, as a chocolate engine. But we've serviced it and it's looking okay. Now, what I've been asked most about with the channel is what's occurring under the cover with the DKW project. Well, I'm glad you asked, because there's been a fairly big happening with the DKW. Something totally unexpected, but basically, hold on to your hats, hang on to your seats, because it's going to be an exciting ride and a catch up about what's been happening with the DKW. Yeah. Getting it. Well, let's see how we did, okay? Whew. And so, without further ado, we uncover and reveal the DKW project. Yeah, about that. This is why the channel's called Auto Insania. So yeah, it's time to fess up. After having the DKW project for about 6 months and achieving some small successes with inside in the cleaning up the floor pans and repainting and recoating, doing some sort of reassembly work on the car, basically finding out about it, but also finding out how incredibly difficult it was to get any parts for it. Basically, the project kind of stalled, as these things sometimes do. I sat down and had a bit of a reality check, did a pros and cons list, which is never a bad idea with a project car, and I started costing up what it was going to cost just to get it on the road, British registered and usable. And it was like, this is not going to be this summer. This is going to be 2 years from now. And the bills, the amount of money started adding up into thousands, not hundreds. We are a fledgling channel. We have very little in the way of budget. We'd love a sponsor, but we haven't got one. It's not that kind of thing. And I don't know if you remember me saying in one of the my early videos, I think probably my first one, the car I was really looking for was a Mars Marina. Now, all my car-loving friends are now going to have their hands in the air, throwing things at the screen and spitting their beer out, because basically what I've done is swapped one of the world's coolest cars, the DKW, for one of the least cool cars in the world. Now, if you are a viewer from another country, you might not know what this is. It's a very maligned car that sort of symbolised the downfall of the British motor industry. An old-fashioned design, even when it was launched in 1971. It did everything it was asked to do. It was a get-to-work car. It was a car that, took you on holiday. It was a car that pulled the family caravan. The van variants and pickups carried hay bales, car parts, whatever. And they did that very well. It was not highly inspiring to drive because of its shortcomings as far as its suspension design was concerned, using a torsion bar and lever arm front suspension, which was sort of a rehashed version of the Morris Minor, and a simple cart spring set up at the back. Now, one of these was my very first car, 1.8 coupe, and I had about 4 or 5 of these in the sort of 80s, 90s, because they were just dirt cheap and everywhere. They made, over 1 million of these things. So they've kind of all been a terrible car as people speak about them. Most people who talk about marinas and slag them off have never even sat in one, let alone driven one. Or they picked one up from the auctions for about 25 quid in 1981, blah, blah, blah. What a load of rubbish, and the wheels fell off, blah, blah. Well, if you picked up a car from the auctions in 1980 and it cost you 20 quid, it was going to be a old rubbish. It didn't matter if it was an Escort or whatever. I know everyone, all the Ford people now go, oh yeah, Escorts do 900 miles an hour and they fly and 80 to the gallon and they're the best things on sliced bread and faster than a Porsche. Oh, that's a rubbish. We all know what the score is, okay? Most cars that are built in the 70s and 80s, rotted. Doesn't matter what it was. You could have good cars, you could have bad cars. You could have the Friday afternoon car built by any manufacturer. Even Rolls-Royce built bad cars on occasions in the 70s. So, it's time to get off the back of the marina a little bit and give it a bit of leeway. Stop dropping pianos on them for a start. So basically, yeah, this was my first car. It's a humble car, but when I was looking for a classic, I really wanted to go rear-wheel drive, and I've always fancied building one of these up and basically tuning, lowering, fiddling with it and making something, a silk purse out of a sow's ear, shall we say. And that's nothing to insult Marsh Marino Club people, because I really like the car. Okay, it's just saying to make something better than the sum of its parts. And that's kind of what I want to do when this channel happened. Now, the DKW fell out of the sky and was a project that happened after, as a lot of people eBay's projects do, after a couple of ciders on a Friday night, and a bid thrown in while having had a few ciders, and waking up in the morning and found I'd bought a car. So the DKW now, for people wondering and worrying, has gone to a guy called Alex. I advertised it on Facebook Marketplace. I had a lot of response to it because it is a very rare car. I priced it sensibly, pretty much what it owed me. No major, profit making involved. And I had 2 or 3 properly interested parties. Now, Alex came forward straight away and told me his car story. He has rear-engine Fiats from the 60s and 70s. He has all sorts. He loves weird, and he loves rescues, and he loves patina on cars. And the DKW was right up his street. And he's got the resources and the workshop and time and the enthusiasm to do what I can't. So I know it's a bit disappointing for people who watch this channel from the beginning and think, oh no, Cliff, you've let the side down. But really, we're just going in a different direction. And anyone who knows me knows that I like cars, and this is my 207th car in my 38-year driving career. Okay, so but we're going to try and push forward with this one because bits are available and it's a lot more interesting prospect. And if we could make a fast drift marina or something silly like that, wouldn't it be fun? Just a bit different, rather than all the Ford Escorts and everything on there. So let's see how we end up with this one. Okay, so keep watching, keep following. Now let's see what we've actually bought. So here it is, the new project car. What we have here is a 1980 Marsh Marina 1700 HL. Now this is kind of almost the last year of Marina production before they went to the Ital, which was just a sort of rehashed Marina, as it were. But as you can see, we've seen some attempts by British Lane here to sort of modernise the looks. We've got a little chin spoiler under the front. We've got less chrome and more sort of black plastic, more modern looking wheel trims, things like that. And originally would have had a black vinyl roof. Now this car lost that some time ago. It's just been painted black to cover it up. It's fitted with the 1.70 series engine, which replaced the old 1.8B series, which had been in production for ever such a long time, and basically Austin Rover, or British Leyland as they were then, maybe Austin Rover, who knows, invested, I think, something like 30 million into this engine design, which replaced the old overhead valve B series, which, as I say, had been in production since the sort of late 40s, early 50s, with a more modern overhead cam design, which basically had shim tappets, and was supposed to be sort of lean burning, more efficient, quieter, more refined. It produces about, I think it's just under 80 horsepower, about 78 brake horsepower, and about 90 pounds-foot of torque, something along those lines. If I'm wrong, I'll put the figures up online. Anyway, so this one is fitted with the 1.7. So, which would have been at the time the top of the range. So, wasn't it? By this point, there was no longer a TC in the range. So there was no twin carb option. It's finished in oyster gold, and it's not actually in bad nick. It's about 14 different colours of gold, because it was an old guy's car that basically hit every corner, and basically every time he touched it in, just used a different colour of pot of paint from the gold that was in the garage. The insides are delightful brown Draylon, using a slightly different sort of design to the early cars, which were all pretty much vinyl and burnt your bum on a hot day when you were a kid. We've got the famous, I say, ergonomic design dashboard where the radio faces away from the driver. That's what I've been fiddling around with when he's driving. As you can see by the multimeter and the cowling off, we've got a few electric issues to deal with. That's probably the first of our problems. But yeah, as I say, it's actually really good underneath. However, we've got quite a few big dollops of filler. This front wing, I mean, if this front wing had any more filler in it, I think you could probably register this thing as a kit car. Marines were famous for rotting at the tips of the wings, where the mud just got thrown up from the wheels and ended up behind the front wing panel. And this car is no different. Both sides are pretty ropey. Love the AA badge. It was on every Marina back in the day. And they didn't actually break down as much as you'd think. So I had about 5 or 6 of these, and apart from, I think, a clutch issue where basically the clutch cylinder failed on one because it's hydraulic, I don't think I really had many problems with them, and actually I had quite a lot of fun with them. Especially I had a couple of TCs, and they were actually quite fast for what they were. MGB engine in a car that actually weighed less than an MGB. So they were fairly rapid back in my college days. So yeah, metalwork in the doors seems to be pretty good. Now the car is, I don't know if you've ever seen the film Christine. It's not evil, this car. It's not like it's possessed and it's going to try and kill you. But there's a bit in the movie Christine where the guy goes about the car and he says, look at it, all cockeyed. We've got brand new windscreen wipers for a busted windshield. Now, this car is a bit like that. The previous elderly owner, I've got, stacks of paperwork and everything else. The engine's been rebuilt. The floor pan has been welded and has been fully undersealed, and it's actually really, really solid underneath. And he sort of spent money on, a brand new set of tyres for it about 3 or 4 years ago before the car came off the road. I'm presuming the elderly owner passed away. I bought it from a middleman. It's only done 38,000 miles from new, allegedly. But that paperwork kind of backs that up. But yeah, as I say, it's that sort of cockeyed thing of brand new tyres, rebuilt engine, completely re-undersealed from stem to stern underneath, new welding done, everything else. And then the bodywork is just atrocious. I mean, I know not everyone can do paint and not everyone can do filler and everything else, but it's sort of, I don't know, it just sort of astounds me sometimes. One problem we've got, I don't know if you can see down in there, there's a gaping hole where there is no starter motor, and I'm trying to get hold of one in a minute, and that's actually more surprising than you'd think. Back in the old days, you go straight down the scrapyard and you pull one out of the breaker, or you pull out of a Sherpa van which had the same engines in, and you'd make do. Slightly up against the house here, so we can't really see this side, but this side, so doors are pretty good, sills are good. We've got some filler lurking in quite a few places, some that are fairly awful. But as I say, it's a very good basis for a project. It's so chatty that basically, if I wanted to paint it pink with blue spots, I could do. I'm not going to do that, don't worry. But the idea to maybe lower it somewhat, and that's really easy on a Marine. On the front, you can actually wind the front torsion bar adjusters down and basically drop it. I could drop this thing 2 inches in about 10 minutes time on the front end, and it's lowering blocks on the back like you would for an Escort. So, I can lower this thing really easily. The stud pattern is really odd for wheels. As I say, it's quite a small Imperial stud pattern that's sort of fairly uncommon. It's mainly just the Marina, some small Triumphs, and just trying to think what else really. Yeah, it's fairly small size pattern for British cars of this period. So the idea is to lower it. Overtune the existing engine, maybe try and find a twin carb setup from a Rover SD1 2-litre, which is, again, a very rare car. But so you could go TC and make a more modern TC that they sort of didn't build. Or we could go engine swap. The idea that came into my mind the other day was basically MX-5 engine gearbox swap it, which I think would be quite hilarious. You can buy a rotten MX-5 for about 300 or 400 quid now. And mechanically, they're always pretty cock on. So, what I would like now from you is your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas, and your feedback on this. And I know a lot of people are going to hate this car because a lot of people hate Marinas. A lot of people think I've gone insane for basically swapping this for a non-functioning DKW to get a non-functioning Morris Marina. But as I say, we've got a rebuilt engine that's really helpful. We've got new tyres, we've got new brakes all the way through. Like, all the underside of this car has been done, spent a lot of money on, and it's a really good basis for a project. And this is kind of where I wanted to be when we started the channel. And if there's anything really more insane than buying a Morris Marina with loads of filler in it that doesn't run, then, you know, what is? This is the crux of what we do and who we are on the channel. So let me know your comments, and we'll be seeing more of this car in the near future. So here we are, an introduction to the Marina. If you'd like to give it a name, polite please, if you don't mind. I thought about calling it Steinway because that's the name of the piano, obviously. You know, the whole Top Gear thing. But name suggestions are always good. Leave your comments, names and ideas down in the comments, and I'd like to read anything you write about my projects and my videos, and we'll be seeing you again soon. So thanks very much.